What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here for your Overwatch. Absolutely massive news roundup for you today. First thing I want to point out is that the background gameplay will be of CTF Blitz, which is Blizzard's new take on the CTF format. If you have played it before, you may remember that if you go to overtime, the flags got closer. Well, Blitz is basically that mode all the time, 1st to 6, because the caps come really fast. It plays like a more structured version of Tiny Overwatch in all the best ways, so check that out in the arcade if you're interested. First news item of the day, the Overwatch League have released Goat Brigitte as a skin, which saw a bit of controversy and backlash on Twitter because, of course, Goats isn't really a meta most of us look back on fondly. However, I personally think that this is a really cool addition. First of all, the skin looks great. It's kind of a must-have as is. Most people get free tokens from watching the Overwatch League anyway, so I don't really see it as Blizzard trying to cash in on a particular pain point from the community. Instead, I sort of see them as leaning into the meme about Goats comp, and I think this is a pretty cool way to commemorate that era of Overwatch, which isn't coming back. They're just straight up can't be a 3-tank 3 composition anymore. If anything, we're gonna have less tanks in the future if Jeff's experiment goes through, but if the Overwatch League lasts a long time, I think it'll be something that we look back on fondly to have this skin and sort of just laugh about it. So I take no offense to it. But more Overwatch League news. It's now, I believe, 5 casters that have left the league. We've already talked about Monty, Doa, and Puckett leaving. In addition to them, Semmler and Malik both announced that they'll be leaving as well. Semmler cited in an interview to Loadout that he doesn't like to fake passion or just flat out doesn't do it, and he was struggling to find it for Overwatch. You can imagine a guy that comes from CSGO who really likes watching heads get clicked didn't really gel too much with the Goats era and cites that as a major problem for him moving forward with Overwatch. So he's likely going back to CSGO or other games. But now, with all of these casters have gone, Overwatch League is going to be much different. And Dafran weighed in with a hot take on his Twitch stream and said this.
Who left Monty, Malik? Who left more Semmler? Dude, I didn't like any of those anyways, dude. So like, there's easily people who can be much better. Dude, I feel like Monty, Semmler, and Malik and them, they're like the Gucci brand of casters. The overrated Gucci brand.
Pretty harsh opinion, one Malik didn't take too kindly to. Responds on Twitter, damn son, Gucci? You know how racist they are and how much I don't like them? You could have at least said Lululemon, if I'm saying that right, I have no idea. He follows up, real talk though, don't misinform your fans, man. You don't know my or anyone's situation. Have a little respect, my G. Dafran replies, quoting the Nathan Grayson article, rumors have swirled that Blizzard is offering unsatisfactory pay to talent. Malik Foreplay told me that. In his particular case, it's true. So Dafran asks, is this not true? Malik responds, I never said it was unsatisfactory. I said the number wasn't what I desired. No one knows that number, by the way. That's what was quoted. That headline to the Reddit thread is widely deceptive. Dafran kicks back, basically saying that anybody is replaceable, and if they don't want to do it for the amount that they're getting paid, someone else will do it for less. Malik says you're right. Speaking of people getting replaced, you experienced that yourself with the Atlanta Reign last year, but you commenting on the business details and exaggerating with no actual facts is a little petty, is all I'm saying. Dafran replies, exactly, it is a competitive job and people want your job. I know this myself with streaming and the Reign. With Thorin's statement that Blizzard is lowballing their talent, and with this article saying you didn't get how much you wanted, I think it's enough to form my speculations and opinion. Malik responds, look, if I didn't like you, Dafran, I wouldn't have bothered saying anything. Every time I've seen you, it's been all good, and I don't think of you as the type to switch up on folks when you get behind your computer. Just make sure you get context before commenting on stuff. Dafran replied, you are right, my dude, my bad. I became what I hated the most. A Redditor. Dun, dun, dun. You're right, Dafran. Scum of the earth. Lowest of the low. Malik responds, LOL, those damn Redditors, man. All the best to you, though, man. So it's cool that they were able to shake hands and part ways. I do think it is a little bit odd that we're having such a semantic debate, it seems. Malik was asked this on Twitter. I'm a fan of yours, and I'm inclined to be on your side, but how is unsatisfactory different from not being what you desired? Malik responds, because the offer was actually a decent offer For myself, a guy starting a family and living in a high tax zone like California, it wasn't what I desired. So I decided to move out the way and let someone new get a shot at hosting. But no one wants to talk about any of that. Yeah, I don't really get this. To me, the words are the same thing, but maybe I'm crazy. I guess the way Malik is trying to correct the record is that he's not trying to insult Blizzard, but no matter what, if multiple sources of talent say they didn't get the pay they wanted, it doesn't matter if they personally think it could be satisfactory for another caster, whoever the next peasant is, to take the pay cut. I think the conclusion still remains the same, but in any case, moving on, there's been more Overwatch League drama where Monte Cristo is in the news for blasting the commissioner for alleged lies. The commissioner of the Overwatch League went on Esports Observer in an interview and stated that the large talent departure from the league has been the property's decision, making it seem like the Overwatch League didn't want those guys anyway. Monte follows up on this saying, "Imagine being so insecure as a commissioner that you need to take an interview to lie and announce an announcement. If you are confident in your product, just say nothing, then announce your deals when you sign. Pathetic." Is it just me, or could Monte be the bad guy in a video game? Like, he reminds me of Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. Pathetic. So all in all, it doesn't seem like all of the departing casters are doing so with gasoline and a match like Monte Cristo is, but at least 2 of the 5 have insinuated that pay was a deciding factor. And you might imagine that even if the other things that were brought up as complaints might go away if the pay was increased, right? Money can solve a lot of problems. And what I think it seems the Overwatch League have done is try to launch in the first 2 years with S-tier talents, trying to take some of the best in the business from wherever they could. And now that we're going into a regionalization phase, we're going to see, perhaps by accident, but for whatever reason, more Overwatch-centered casters in the league, which, as I've commented on earlier, I think may overall be a better thing for the league in the long term, because if you have casters in there that aren't passionate about it, it's just not going to be as good, right? They'll either not be as into the game to know enough about the game or enjoy casting it, which just shows. But without a doubt, losing the veteran all-stars that we did, you should expect that extreme level of polish we're used to from the league may go down. Puckett, Monte, Doa, Malik, Semmler, these guys have all been in esports many, many years, and that level of experience makes for a very refined broadcast and presentation, whereas I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to speak live. Just being able to speak anything, regardless if you know a lot about the game or anything like that, passion, all of that is like secondary to just being able to look at the camera and speak or not fumble your words. Very, very difficult. So in that aspect, the league might take a bit of a hit. Moving on to patch news, there are 2 reported bugs that are going to be getting fixed next week. Genji's Swift Strike rubber bands in the current update, and Xbox LFG doesn't work. Bill Warnecki has already confirmed these will get a rollout patch next week. As reported in previous news videos, the community has tried to send a message to Blizzard that we would all be quite in favor for them to make Charity a Firefighter Roadhog and or Junkrat skin for Charity to be sent over to Australia to help aid with the bushfires. And here, Armando Gonzalez has made us a Firefighter Roadhog skin concept that is just too awesome to not be in the game. Please, Blizzard, give us this now. His hook says rescue on it, and the tattoo on his belly is a koala. Way too cool. I need this now. And as well, Wheelchair Dude on Twitter made a quick mock-up of a potential Junkrat skin, sort of utilizing the current assets with May and recoloring them to fit the purpose. So one of these things, Blizzard, would be really cool. It's still not too late to do it. I'm sure making this kind of thing a reality probably takes time, and they probably would have had to already be doing it to do it in a timely manner. So I hope that's happening behind the scenes, and we'll let you know if Blizzard does pull the trigger on making one of these awesome skins. Now on to Overwatch 2 news. The Vancouver Titans tweeted out that Overwatch 2 is coming out this year. Really, Vancouver? Just dropping it out like that. They had since deleted the tweet and followed up saying that they just wanted to build some hype for the game and do not have information on an official release. But I don't know, I just feel like this is the type of accident that happens when you know something but aren't supposed to say it. Because anybody that knows anything about Overwatch 2 they should know that the release date isn't confirmed, right? Like, who's manning this Twitter account? I feel like if I ask any of you watching this video right now, you know that Jeff has said Overwatch 2 might be a ways out. So because of that, I just feel like this is such a blatant error that it's probably closer to true rather than some big accident, because there's so many other ways you could have worded this. But in any case, in more concrete updates, there has been an Overwatch 2 job listing describing needing someone to work on new game modes, which may imply we'll be getting even more than push come the sequel, and another job posting for an Overwatch 2 game designer. And in the requirements section notes that the applicant would need to be able to keep up with an aggressive patch cycle, which would imply faster patches, but I think we already could have expected that when Overwatch 2 comes out anyway. It probably will feel about as intense as Overwatch 1's release did. I think what a lot of us would be more excited about is if the current live version of the game had a bit more of an aggressive patch cycle, but so far it already feels like that might be the case. So this might be something that goes for both versions of the game, both the sequel / update and just the live game now. If PTRs were up to the live game in a week every time and we saw them more frequently, I would be extremely happy, and I think a lot of players would be too. Now, to close out the video with a couple shout outs, here is PMA Jellies Practice Range 2.2. This is a workshop code that you can put in to enhance your training range experience. You can practice shooting a tracer, reacting to an EMP from Sombra, following up on characters that are difficult to hit in time, like against a Genji or a Mei using freeze, or practice your hit scan aim up against a flying Pharah. A lot of these things are pretty cool. You can check this out, linked in the description, along with all the other sources for today's video. The workshop code is AJERA, which will show on screen, and as well, you can just copy and paste from the code in the description as well. Last up for the day, I wanted to highlight this clip from Jake, who's been giving us a lot of gold recently to the community.
You really think Orisa gameplay is good for non-Overwatch players? You really think that? I think what people want out of a game like Overwatch is diversity. I think it's really simple, actually. I think they just want to see lots of heroes. I think Overwatch has a ton of cool heroes, and a casual player just wants to see them all. People just want to see their favorite player. I think it's really simple, actually. I think it's like the least complicated thing you could imagine. I think it's like, I like playing this hero and I want to see the pros play this hero. That, like, is that not true? I don't think it's this complicated thing like, well, no, I'm really more of a fan of dive meta over goats meta. The strategic depth of goats meta is a little too much. It's like, no, people just want to see their favorite hero. And what's the way you ensure that? You play lots of heroes. How do you ensure that you play lots of heroes? You need bans, because they won't balance for us.
Well, guys, that's everything for today's news wrap-up video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave the video with a like. It really does help us out. Let us know that you're enjoying the content. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos go live. Link to the description is our Twitter, where we tweet out news, updates, and the dankest of memes. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for You Overwatch. We'll see you guys next time.